Triple Frontier follows a group of former Special Force operators led by Tom Redfly Davis, who is played by Ben Affleck. Now, these Special Force operators are struggling to find purpose in their civilian lives. Tom, alongside his friends Santiago Pope Garcia, played by Oscar Isaac, William Ironhead Miller, played by Charlie Hunman, and Ben Miller, played by Garrett Hedlund, and Francisco Catfish Morales, played by Pedro Pascal, decide to reunite for one final mission. The goal, robbing a drug lord's fortune hidden deep in the jungles of the South America. Now, initially framed as a moral mission to disrupt the drug trade, their operation quickly becomes a dangerous heist fueled by greed and survival. They successfully locate and steal millions in cash, only to face a brutal journey back to safety. As they transport the loot, the plan unravels due to unforeseen obstacles and internal conflicts over the massive amounts of money. These setbacks force the team to confront their loyalties, not only to each other, but to themselves and their morals, as well as the darker side of their own motivations. The heist ultimately proves a failure, leading to a tragic loss within the team. Now, the movie underscores the psychological and the emotional toll of their greed-fueled mission. Triple Frontier is one of my favorite films in the military genre. And the first thing that I want to talk about here is the cast. You have Ben Affleck, Oscar Isaac, Charlie Hunman, Garrett Hedlund, and Pedro Pascal. All of these actors' stock has gone up since this movie. Maybe not Ben Affleck's, because Ben Affleck's stock is always very much in the same area. It's Ben Affleck. You know, he's a badass actor. He's well known. He's famous. Ben Affleck is Ben Affleck. But Oscar Isaac's stock went up. He starred in the Dune movies and so many other stuff with Marvel. You have Charlie Hunman, who's done Rebel Moon and amongst other things with The Gentleman. You have Ben Miller, who's doing Tulsa King right now. And you have Pedro Pascal, who did The Last of Us, who's doing Gladiator 2. His stock is sky high. Probably the highest out of all of the actors currently. Now, if you try to get this movie made today and try to get all of these actors back, I think it'd be a little bit harder than it was back when Triple Frontier was made, which was 2019. I just think that maybe the fee for these actors would be a little bit more expensive. But moving on from the great, fantastic cast that it had, visually, the movie was a lot better than I remember. When I first watched this film, it was in 2019 when it first released. And I watched it again now in 2024 with my sister. I enjoy watching some films with her and showing her the films that I truly enjoyed. She really likes the military genre as well. And I told her that probably Triple Frontier would be a good watch. And so watching it, I was able to relive some of those things that I noticed the first time. But there was so much more. There was so much nuance to a lot of these characters. Every single character in the movie had an underlying tone to it. Oscar Isaac's character was going through some things on his own. Pedro Pascal's character was going through some things as well. Ben Affleck's character was one of the main ones that was going through some heavy stuff. And so the underscore of each of these characters was fascinating to see and fascinating to be a part of. But the way the movie was shot, the cinematography of the film, I would put it up there with Sicarios, with Dune, with Interstellar. Like, I know that it sounds crazy, but it was so beautiful to look at. The cinematographer is named Roman Vasyanov. He is a Russian-born cinematographer and director known for his distinctive visual style in high-energy action and gritty films. He began his career in Russia working on music videos and commercials before he moved to Hollywood, where he gained attention for his work on several major films. Some of these include End of Watch in 2012, great film, and Fury in 2014, directed by David Ayer, who would become a regular collaborator of Roman. Roman Vasyanov's dynamic handheld camera style and ability to create intense immersive visuals made him known in Hollywood. He worked on Suicide Squad. He also served as the cinematographer for Bright. And Vasyanov's emphasis on realistic lighting, color contrast, and fluid camera movements gives him a visceral and grounded feel to most of his projects. And that's exactly what happened with Triple Frontier. I think Triple Frontier is probably one of his most underrated films in terms of cinematography because it was so beautiful to look at. Honestly, if it wasn't for copyright reasons, I would be showing you all of the beautiful ass shots that were in the movie. So big ups to Roman Vasyanov because it was incredible. And I actually didn't know that he was the cinematographer for End of Watch as well before, making this video, but incredibly talented man and just loved the film visually as well. One other thing that I do want to talk about here is Tom Redfly Davis' character arc. Ben Affleck played him, and Ben Affleck during this time just felt like he was going through some things, the actor, and the way that he was able to project different emotions in the movie was really good because you see him almost as beaten down, and then you see him, oh, this is how he was in his prime, and then you see that darkness come out. So Ben Affleck's character undergoes a massive, tragic character arc, and it examines the tolls of war, the struggles for purpose, and the seductive lure of greed. He was once a disciplined, respected Special Force leader, but Tom has now been worn down by life after the military. He feels disillusioned, financially strained, and burdened by a sense of having no purpose. This made him vulnerable to the offer that Santiago Pope Garcia's character offered him in the movie, which was to take part in the heist targeting the South American drug lord. He initially rejected this, but he soon embraced it, viewing it as a chance to regain some sense of control and to provide financially for his struggling family. Now, as the mission unfolds, Tom's disciplined, tactical side began to show. His desperation and greed, however, overtook his judgment throughout the film, leading him to insist on taking more money than they could carry, ignoring the risk and ultimately compromising their escape. Now, the greed blinded him to the reality of their situation, and he pushed the team into increasingly dangerous decisions, which were driven by the belief that he deserved this fortune after a life of sacrifice. But not just him, but also his team. Now, the worst part, or the most heavy hitting part of the movie was when Tom's arc tragically ended with him paying the ultimate price for his greed. In the end, Tom would be killed by a boy from a village that was tracking them for many days after Tom and the team massacred some village folk for trying to take the money. Now, it was very powerful and it was unexpected. When you first watch this film for the very first time, you're not expecting it. And it's funny because as I was watching it with my sister and we saw the kid creep up behind Ben Affleck's character, she just gasped. You just heard her go like, because that moment, the way that she reacted was the way that I reacted the first time. And seeing it for the second time, just seeing the guy creep up behind Ben Affleck, my heart dropped and it built into it so beautifully. It was so unexpected. And obviously, it shows reality. You don't expect it. You don't see it. The face on Ben Affleck's character when he realized what was happening and that he was about to die, it sends shivers down my spine. Honestly, it gives me goosebumps right now. It was, just shock. What a beautiful movie. What beautiful story was told. And the underlying themes of unchecked ambition and your morals and this greed. It was a damn good film. And it's one film that after a second watch, it got better. And it's even higher on my list of all-time great military films. And again, this is only for entertainment value. Triple Frontier was special.